big box retailers are bringing in some new leadership here. Is it the right leadership? Find out. Stay tuned. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And me, Jonathan.
We're both coming at you.
It's us. We're the new leaders of Guitar Center. It's us.
That'd be
oh
so
my God.
Prepare for extreme bankruptcy. Oh God, that'd be horrible.
Probably.
I don't even know what would happen.
Everyone would just give up. They'd be like, nah.
Oh, those guys
walk out.
here. It's over.
Stage a walkout.
No, so we were just reading some of the articles. I'm looking at some leadership of some of the biggest guitar sellers, from GCs to the SAs to everything. But we were watching where they're bringing them in from, who they're bringing in, and we wish the best to whoever they bring in. We honestly do.
Sure.
But we're a little bit concerned because they seem to be.
I couldn't sleep last night. It was horrible.
I know, you were like,
I was like, oh my
you
God.
kept calling me like at 12:30,
oh my God, Baxter.
1:30, 2:30. It was like all through the night. Like, Baxter,
notifications are silenced. I was like, darn him.
No,
he knows I need to talk about this.
This is how we live. We just can't let it off our chest, our hairy, svelte, lean chest. But I look like an 8th grader when I take my shirt off. It's depressing. I need to work out. Well, not like the 8th graders that have 6-packs today. That's disturbing in its own right. I don't understand what these kids are doing.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, gross. But they're bringing in their leadership structure from what I would consider the dinosaur industries of what exists. We're looking at places like Bed Bath & Beyond, PetSmart, like Home Goods. You know, not necessarily the ones that are like, Home Goods is actually doing well, but some of the other ones like Bed Bath & Beyond is not doing well.
Oh my Lord.
You know,
no.
PetSmart's up and down. It's like, but I look at these as like retail models that are sort of stuck in the 90s.
Well, it seems like all those places, for the most part, it's just a matter of time, right? Like, how long are they going to hold on? They're not cutting edge. They're not doing anything new and exciting. There's so much junk online. I mean, there's,
Well, I mean, that's a huge part of it, obviously. Like, I mean, we talked about, like, do you bring in, like, focus hard on your digital marketing structure, or, let's take someone like Guitar Center. Like, they have a huge store infrastructure that they have to service.
Right.
And they have their rents and their employee structures and how much it costs just to operate every day. They can't just give up on that, obviously. They gotta keep it going. But is the way to move forward like more of the same? That's what I'm sort of concerned of. And that's what it sort of seems like where their hiring structure is. I could be wrong, but we were talking about these things like, we were looking like when Gibson was going through its round of bankruptcy a few years back. There was rumors of Joe Bonamassa taking over the company. And you can either love or hate Joe Bonamassa, but we all know one thing. We love that he loves guitar.
Right.
And I don't care if he's a business acumen or whatever, but I know his partners that are involved have made him a multimillionaire. They know business, so whoever Joe brings aboard is going to know business a little bit too. And he loves guitars.
And he obviously knows guitars, right? Like, he knows what a Les Paul is supposed to be. He knows what makes a good 335. He knows what you use a Firebird for. I mean, like, he just knows.
Well, the guitar business is different than the washing machine business. The guitars are not a need.
Right.
It's not, it's a luxury, disposable, fun, like, sort of product that they need to look at, and they put it in like the cogs and sprockets things sometimes. Like, if you can sell X, you can sell Y.
Right.
And I think there's so much heart involved in this besides just the standard math.
Yeah.
It's like if I got made the head of, like, Ford, and I didn't like the Shelby Cobra, or I didn't like the Mustang at all. Like, I'm more of a Charger guy, or it would be weird. Or if I didn't like cars, or if I didn't drive, and maybe it's akin to that. Like, if you don't play guitar or play music at all.
Well, I mean, I think
Can you understand the heart of a musician?
I think we're actually seeing a little bit of that in the car industry. There's a shakeup that some of those American companies are not making their muscle cars anymore. They're going electric, right? So, like, some people are like, man, they're supposed to love these things.
Well, I think they're going. I mean, that's a whole other side. They're going electric, but then they're pulling back a little bit. But then they're going for it. But there's always going to be the muscle cars. I hope. Like, that's just part of. But don't get me wrong. I love electric cars too. I think that should be a thing that we push forward entirely.
Push is the key word.
Push.
I'm sorry.
Small high five.
I love them. I love them too. I love them.
That's funny.
They're wonderful.
Don't let there be a strong breeze.
I'm sorry. I'll behave.
I know. You be nice. You be nice, Jonathan.
Drive your electric cars. It's fine.
You jerk. But No, it's a weird thing. We've been watching it, and like we keep rooting. We want all the industry to do well.
Yeah.
Like if Guitar Center does well, if Sam Ash does well, if Sweetwater does well, if Musician's Friend does well, if all the big huge ones do well, we all do better. So it helps everybody in a self-serving way.
The rising tide theory.
Yeah, it creates more players. It creates more opportunities for players to get access to instruments, have a joyful experience. Then eventually they'll shop outside of their comfort zone or their big box place. And that happens to us all the time. We have people that live in major markets where there are plenty of opportunities for Guitar Center and other large shops, but they choose to come to us because of what we offer that is different, not necessarily better.
Well, they get hooked on, going to the big box stores on guitar, and then one day they think, oh, maybe I want one of those strange custom shop things, or a magnetron, or a vintage thing.
Well, and then there's a few of the independents. This is a side note too. I've noticed there's been a trend in some of the great, stronger independents are carrying way more than the big boxes actually carry because they just do guitars.
Right.
Whereas the big boxes are trying to carry everything.
Yep.
And then you go to the cavernous. God, I was so depressed. I went to the drum and the keyboard section of Sam Ash the other day, and I was like, oh, it was like just nothing. The whole room was empty.
This has been a while, but the last Guitar Center I went to was like that. No. Yeah.
I think Derek was just up there last week or something too.
Yeah, I think he was at the Sam Ash.
Yeah, I don't know which one he was at, but it was
probably both. He probably went by both. But.
Yeah, it's just sort of a bummer, but that's where I'm okay with like guys like Cesar that are guitar nuts and rock star nuts.
At least we know they love, what they're doing.
I like that sort of borderline insane passion. Like, because we used to get passionate about all the silly guitars that come in here. I mean, there's a double neck Casadosa sitting to your left over there, off camera. It's absurd in every possible way, but
it is ridiculous, but it's also awesome.
It's one of the coolest things we've ever seen. Like, it's like this. It shouldn't exist.
No.
But I'm happy it does, and I'm happy that someone was stupid enough to build it, and we had a person excited enough to want to be part of that and make it his own. And we got to be there from the impetus of that from day one.
Yep.
But that's part of the whole business structure. Is like, it's the love of guitar and the almost the culture of guitar, and business comes second. And then that's where it spawns from. And I get nervous when I go to all these guitar things where I go to the manufacturers and I meet everybody. A lot of them aren't guitar people, and it's kind of scary. Sometimes the head of major guitar makers too. But I love that about Fender. At least, hey, Andy's a guitar player. I saw him play Ozzy Osbourne with the band, and the drummer's name was Derek. I don't know if he's with Fender anymore. I hope he came back. I think he left and came back maybe for a bit. I heard stuff. Cool. He was great. He was one of the coolest guys in sort of accounts services with us. But he plays guitar, right?
And I think that means something. And maybe it doesn't mean something in every industry. Like, I don't think you have to be necessarily a pet expert to be the head of PetSmart.
Or a washing machine expert. Maybe you should, actually.
Just to understand the marketing stuff. But it is I do think, and maybe it's naive of us to believe this, that it's different. Maybe it's all just, making money. But maybe. I think it matters in our industry because it's just something different. It's something people are super passionate about. I'm not super passionate about what washes my clothes, but I am really passionate about the guitars and the amps.
People that are passionate about that are kind of like oddballs, and they focus on that one thing that's cool. But yeah, guitars, passion. It's like food, too. Like, I look at, like, if a chef at a restaurant doesn't like his own food or doesn't like cooking,
kind of weird.
The restaurant's you're gonna feel that at the restaurant in your gut and in your taste palates. It's not gonna bode well for the business.
Right.
So I still fantasize about the idea of Joe getting involved with like Gibson. That would have been cool. Besides what he's doing.
Right.
And the idea of if Fender ever does switch over at some point, like when the CEO board is saying, we're tired of doing this, we're gonna go off and go just chill out in our Greek Isles, because the houses in Greece are on sale right now apparently. Not in the Bahamas. We were checking values. Wow, it's expensive. Saw a nice little 1-bedroom shack for $500,000. I was like, oh, it was guaranteed to fall apart in 3 months too. But no, so let us know if we're completely wrong and off our rockers.
It's possible.
We could be. Business is business sometimes, and maybe that's all that matters. we've always been folks that just call it straight, call it like we see it, even when it's wrong.
Even when we're wrong, by God.
Which is often.
Double down.
Talk to any of the people we work with, and they'll let you know wrong.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, but yeah, we're wishing the best for them all.
Yes.
That's it. But yes, hoping that we're looking forward in the future, not just looking in the '90s present. That's all I got to say. Anything else, Johnny Rob?
I think that's it.
Thank you for joining us. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Peace be with you all out there, and have a great, great, great morning, afternoon, and